Welcome back to the workbench, and we are continuing to work on the Rolife flower shop kit build. And we've kind of jumped ahead, and we're actually putting together the flower shop itself. I guess yesterday, we got a bunch of the wall panels put together. We're going to continue that, but to do that, first, what we need to do is put together this poster wall. I've kind of looked ahead. I was prepping ahead so that we could have everything kind of together. So we wouldn't have to wait around prepping stuff, so it wouldn't bore you with that during the video. And while doing that, I found out we're going to need this poster wall. So let's go ahead and put it together first real quick. It won't take long. Let me just grab, this is my little glue spreader. I'm using this tacky glue stuff to do the paper gluing now. We've kind of abandoned the glue that came with the kit. I finally just made that executive decision to let's just abandon that stuff. It's really bad stuff. So I'm using this tacky glue. What I'm doing is just kind of spreading it with a piece of cardboard. And what I really want to do is get it spread out to the edges here. That's, I think, what's most important. The edges and the corners, I think, is probably what's, most important to hit, because that's where the paper cutting stuff is going to want to peel up from. So let's get this kind of spread out real well, like so. And then, yeah, we have this, what looks like a cork board. It's just cut out of paper. They have a whole bunch of different paper, sheets of paper that you cut these out of. I'm going to go ahead and glue it right here. Try to line up the edges and then smooth it out. And now here's the weird part, because I've already looked ahead on this too. So we just put this on, which basically looks like, a poster board or cork board or whatever. But then they have us cut out the exact same pictures that are already on here. Can you guys see this? So this is one that I cut out. So we cut this out of paper, and we're supposed to glue that over top of what's already there, like so. So it's just paper over paper. Now, I think that's a little more vibrant, and I guess that's why they have us doing it. But why didn't they just, I don't get it. Like, why? Why didn't they just print this out on this paper where it's a little more vibrant? I'm debating whether I even to go to the trouble, but I guess I will. I think it'll be pretty easy. All I'm going to do, I'm literally real quickly, let me slide them out of the way. I'm going to just drop, just a touch of glue. I'm trying to be real careful. I don't want a ton of it to come squirting out of here. Just a touch of glue on each one of these, I think, like so. Just like that. And then I'll just stick them on, I guess. Kind of wiggle them around a little bit to smear that glue around. And then just lay them over top. It's just, I don't know, I find it very strange. We're just laying them over top of what's already there, essentially. Let's see, this one goes this way. So let's just kind of do the same thing. I'm just going to kind of wiggle it around to smear the glue a little bit. And there we go. I don't know. I'm doing what they tell me to do. A lot of the things in this kit have been a little odd to me. Like, you just kind of question, like, why am I doing this now? I guess it does give maybe a little bit of, it gives the impersonation, because I'm not gluing the edges so much. So can y'all see it gives a little shadow underneath. It maybe makes it look a little more like they're pinned up there. I don't know. That's what I'm going to go with. We're going for ultra realism. Which way does this one go? This way. Okay. Again, I do kind of want to smear it around because I want to make sure they get pretty well glued on there. I don't want them falling off, obviously. And then the last one, just like that, and then there's what we're calling a, what do they call it? A poster wall. There we go, a poster wall. It's really just a cork board. And now I was going to show you something too. So you'll end up with overhang, of course. And I did this to all the panel pieces in between episodes. I'm just taking the coarse side of the sanding stick they provided us, and you can just kind of sand. You can literally just sand off that edge. It's a lot easier to do it this way. You can try to do it with a sharp X-Acto, but you'll end up catching your wood grain. You'll dig into the wood, so it's a lot easier. Just give a quick on the angle. This is what I found worked pretty well when I was doing all these bigger pieces. Is just hit on the angle, and you can just kind of sand off those edges that are overhanging. And in fact, if I had it to do over again, But quite honestly, if I had it to do over again, a lot of this stuff like this here, I would just paint. I would paint it and then use a sponge and give it the texture, and I would just paint it. I wouldn't even use the paper. That doesn't make any sense. But something like this where you have the printed cork, well, two things. One, I would probably just go ahead and print my own cork that's a little better print. This is really bad. It's just on, it's really, you can see how it's not very vibrant, the colors. So I would literally reprint it, overcut it, so that there's a bunch overhanging, and then you come back and just sand it off like this, and then you'd have a, perfect. And I'm thinking about, in the future at some point, doing another one of these kits and essentially just scrapping all the paper stuff, scrapping all the glue stuff, and, and doing it myself. In other words, just paint it all myself. If I needed to print things, I can print my own textures, and just doing one, almost what I don't want to say do one right, because basically we're doing this right by the box, but do one better. I don't know how to say it. I don't want to insult the kit because it's really not that bad of a kit. It's plenty of fun. It's for $50. It's plenty of quality, I guess. But yeah, I think it would be fun to do one. Essentially doing my own textures and painting and all that stuff. Anyways, let's go ahead and move ahead on this. Basically, now we can jump back ahead. I think that's where we're at, right? Let me get these up out of the way. Right here. Okay, so this is where we actually finished yesterday, or actually we finished here yesterday. I went ahead and glued this guy on in between episodes, or after yesterday's episode, I went and glued this up. So that actually puts us here. Now I've pulled all this stuff up. I've already prepped all this stuff, so we have it. And this board is here, and then the paper that we got to glue on there is this one. And this is something else I want to point out too. So like this little guy here came off of this sheet, which is pre-cut. All these are pre-cut, including this was right here, and all I did was just punch it out of this paper. So my question is, why didn't they do all of them like that? A lot of this stuff I've had to hand cut. Why? I don't understand why they couldn't. I guess they didn't want to make the dies, but why didn't? I find it strange that one sheet is that way and the rest is not, but it is. And so let's go ahead and get this glued on. I think in the same way, I'm just gonna kind of touch some glue kind of around, let me see, probably around this guy, sort of like this, I think. Something like that. And then I'll use my piece of cardboard again to try to spread that across it, because I do want to make sure this gets nice and covered so we don't have paper peeling up. Let's see, flip it this way. I'm trying not to get a ton of glue on my hands, which is always impossible. And if you didn't get glue on your fingers, that would take all the fun out of it, I would think. Just like that. And then let's go ahead and I'm going to kind of touch this left edge and then try to roll it down in place like so. And then I might just go from the middle out as far as squeegeeing it out with my fingers. Just like that. Okay. So now what I think we'll do, I'm going to give it a good press down. And you can see how you get overhang, which is good. That's we'll let this dry and we'll sand that off just like we did before. Let's set that aside, let it dry, because then we've got to do this guy here. And so we've got this kind of same die cut piece of paper. Where's the board? Here's the board, and then we've got this brown wood here. Did we need to paint the back of that, I wonder? No, I don't think so. I'm looking at where it goes. I don't think you'll ever see the back of this. And it's going to go inside here. And it looks like we kind of glue it to the back side, if that makes sense. So flush back here, I think is what they're wanting us to do. I'm trying to decide how I want to glue this. I think what I'm going to do, I'm going to grab the CA glue. I always like to point out the label. I pulled the label off this one, but it's Starbond CA. This is their medium viscosity is what I'm using. This is their thick stuff I use every now and then. But if you want some good CA glue and you want a discount on some good CA glue, check the description down below. There's a discount down there for you guys. But I'm going to use their medium viscosity CA glue, and I'm just going to put not much, just a dot, kind of on the back side right here. I'm going to put one up there on the top, probably on the bottom, and then I think on each side. Like so. Make sure you put your cap back on your CA. I know a lot of people complain about CA glue drying up on them. I've actually been using that bottle for a while now, for months, and it hasn't dried up. But I make sure that I always put my lid back on tight, and I'll, take care of it. So it's essentially like a tool. If you take care of your tools, they last a long time. If you don't, they don't last at all. Okay, so I'm going to let that sit like so. Now, what I need to do, I don't want to just lay that on, you know what I could do? I'm just going to hit it with some accelerant, and then that'll dry it up. I'm going to pull it off screen because I don't want to spray all over everything. There we go. And that should set it. Let me let that dry up just a little bit real quick. Yeah. So now I can lay that flat over there because the glue is dry. In fact, let's go ahead and set it right here because we got to actually put this guy on here, don't we? All right, so let's do that. We'll use our tacky glue. I find this stuff actually works pretty good with paper, with paper craft. I use it a lot. Oh, it's starting to dry up on the tip though. There we go. So let's just kind of, again, I'm just kind of dotting it around. And then we'll use, where'd my cardboard go? We'll use our cardboard to smear it. I could use a brush, but like I said this yesterday, I didn't want to really ruin a brush with it. I think this works just fine, just to kind of get it smoothed out to the edges, like so. It is tacky stuff. So because it's so tacky, you really do want to try to hit an edge, or at least this is the way I do it. Try to hit the corners and the edge here, and then try to roll it on, because you can't, once it makes contact, it is a little bit difficult to get off. Is this supposed to, speaking of, please come off. If you wait too long. Okay, I didn't realize this is overcut. Wait, no, that probably was the, which way? Gosh dang it. They don't show. Glue at, they do. Glue as shown. Well, which way? Oh, I see. No, it is. It's going to be this way. I had it backwards. So I need to, in fact, I think I need to put more glue on. I should always pay attention to your instructions. I'm always a point in case of that. Let me show you what I did wrong. So I realized that there was a lot of overhang on this. Does it show? No, there's a lot. It's only going to overhang one way though, isn't it? It's going to have to overhang that way, which seems backwards. Am I supposed to be this way? Oh no. All right, so that's what I've done. Oh no, I've goofed this. Yeah, I've goofed it. Let's see, if I put this, one of these sides is thicker than the other, and I didn't notice one of the sides is thicker than the other here too. But no, it shows it, no, because that shows it upside down, I think. I'm very confused. Yeah, because we're going to go to the edge of that. What's happened is I've glued this in backwards. It popped out. Nice. It didn't actually glue in, so that's good. That's actually good to know. I think what we're going to have to do, first of all, is clean this off. So this is how it goes when you don't pay attention. Let's kind of clean our glue off as best we can. You know what we can do? Let's get that off of there. So this actually needs to go thick side, thick side this way. Yep, thick side. What's going to happen, and why we have to have this thick and thin side, is it's going to match up with this here, and we need that thickness on that side. So the thicker side of this will cover, it'll cover it. The overlap of this, see, it's going to overlap on this piece, but then that covers that edge. Okay, I hope that makes sense. But what happened is I glued this in backwards, but luckily I didn't actually glue it in. And what I'm going to have to do, because there's so much gap here is the problem, I'm going to go to the thick, which is a gap filler, CA, and this will actually do the job. Now this stuff is hard to squeeze. So now if I'm going to glue in the same places as I just did, but because it's this thick, the thick viscosity or the gap filler glue, it should, we'll get our contact we need with both pieces. If that makes sense. Oh, it's hard to squeeze out here. It's so thick. There we go. Set it up there. Put that cap on. Now, double check. Yeah, that's the way we want it to go this way, because I want this to sit back in here, and I just got it all over my fingers. It's always something you want to try to do is get CA glue on your fingers. Just like so. Okay, and I think that's going to be pretty good. Now, let me give it a good spray here. Yeah, I can see that. I can see that now that I don't know if you guys can see it. The thick stuff fills those gaps and makes that contact. And now, yeah, we got good adhesion, as I guess you would say. Now let's put this on correctly. So let's do it for I don't know, what is this? The third time we've done this? Yeah, pretty par for the course around here. Old tandem seat television. Come on. I'm starting to get low on this glue. We're going to, get out of there. There is some in there. It's just got to let it run to the end. There it is. So I've been setting this. I have a little gap. I've been setting this over here where it's aimed downways to try to keep the glue at the end of the bottle. All right, let's spread out our glue here one more time. Just like so. Okay. And then we'll have to line up this edge because this side's going to overhang. So let's line up this edge here. Like that. And I think we got lucky and got this all to work out for us here pretty well. Whoops. Slide it around, but I'm trying to get the wrinkles out. There you go. I think that's all right. I don't care if there's a little texture in it. I don't think it's going to look too bad. Pull that up some. Okay. Now we'll set this to the side and let it dry, because next we need to cover this one, which I've got the paper already cut out. It goes this way. So hopefully we can get some glue out of this thing. Yeah, there we go. Just dab it all around. Again, I want to make sure I get to the edges and the corners, I think. And then keep it, just try to keep your bottle upside down. That's what I do. Let's go ahead and do our squeegeeing of the glue. Let's see, this way. It's kind of, I don't know why I find this enjoyable. Smearing glue around. It kind of takes you back to elementary school a little bit, I think. Did some kind of elementary school project. Should have gone ahead and just got some Elmer's glue to do this with. Okay, nice. Let me try to now clean some of that glue off my fingers. I don't want to get it too much on the paper here. In fact, let's wipe the edge. Here we go. All right, now I'm going to line up this side here. It has the notch in it. There we go. And then I'm going to, again, work, I think, from the middle out like so. best we can. Yeah, that went okay. And again, there's a little texture in here, and I'm okay with that. It gives it a little bit of a stucco look, I think. But it's not bad. Okay, so that's that. Now, what we need to do, I guess, is we're going to have to glue these two together. So I'm going to grab this one first. I need to, again, kind of take the edges off this. This obviously, here's that overhang we were talking about. That obviously needs to stay there. That overhang does. But I want to get this off, and got a pretty good overhang on this side also. I want to sand that. See, that's just sand right off. It's taking the glue with it. I definitely found this to be the easiest way. I tried doing it with an X-Acto, but it really did just dig into the wood. The X-Acto did, so it's didn't work for me. I think that's actually pretty good. And then this is going to glue here. Let me see if I can. It's not dry yet. Really, you should wait for this to dry. I'm kind of hitting wet glue as I do this, but still working. And I can go back and make it a little better once it's dried up and everything's glued together. It's not doing a bad job. There we go. Yeah. I mainly wanted this edge to be clean because we're going to wrap that paper around it. I want it to be as smooth as possible, at least. Wipe the table all over my lap. That's perfect. All right, now this goes this way, and this is going to go this way. So I think the first thing we need to do is actually glue the wood, and then I'll worry about the paper part. I'm just going to use the medium CA because we got a nice tight fit on this. Just put a little there. It doesn't take much. And Start-Bond CA glue it works good with wood for sure. In fact, I know a lot of guitar guys use it. Guys that repair and make guitars. Start-Bond is very popular amongst them. So I figure it should work for this stuff. Kind of want to make sure. Just stuck my arm. Stuck my arm in my glue on my glue squeegee. Let me wipe that off. And then I want to try to make sure this is square, which it looks pretty square to me. Give it a good push to flatten it out. And then I might go ahead and just hit right here with some accelerant. And I just realized I goofed. Oh my God. I'm an idiot. Can I get this off? Oh boy, I just made a mess of it. Okay, how are we going to fix this? So what I did is I glued to the paper side, as you can obviously see now. God dang it. It needs to go this way. Why do I not pay attention? I think I get to filming and I don't notice what I'm doing. So we're going to have to try to fix this. I bet I'll have to see. Right now we're leaving it as is. Let me go ahead and re-glue. Now I've got paper glued to here. So, oh my goodness. Oh, okay. Let's just try again. We'll see how we're going to fix this. Let's go ahead and get this glued in place and make sure we glue wood. It's supposed to be wood to wood, and I'm sitting there gluing it to the paper side like an idiot. And the only reason I noticed that is I went to spray it with the accelerant. I'm like, oh, I'm going to spray paper. What? Wait a second. So we'll have to, and I keep sticking. If I stick my arm in my glue one more time, how about we move this out of the way over there? There we go. All right, now I'm going to give this a spray with accelerant. So yeah, we've got to clean that up somehow. And what I'm thinking is, is there any extra print? Let me see down here. Hold on just a second. I don't know if they give any extra something that's, is that the right, are these the right color? Something that I could use. I don't know if that's going to exist. They don't give you any extra printed paper. I don't think I have anything that's going to be thick enough. Well, I might have to print my own, I guess. Let me see. Let's see. Oh, yeah, that is going to definitely, so I'm bringing up so it's going to be right here. So that's definitely, it's definitely going to show right there on the top. So we've definitely got to fix this somehow. But I think before we do that, I'm going to go ahead and glue, I'm going to glue this little flap down. Yeah, we really bungled this one, didn't we? Let's do that. I'm going to grab, actually, let me turn this, keep this upside down. Let me spread this in here as best I can. Like so. This is actually going to make a mess. I think it's going to squish out everywhere. Not too bad. Something like that, I guess. Yeah, I've got to figure out what I'm going to use to cover that with. What do I have? Is there any extra? Yeah, I wish they gave you a little a little extra piece. Let me try some of this and see if it'll work. I could, because I was thinking I could put. Well, no, I really can't because of the it looks like the roof line is going to come about right here. So let me try. These are the templates. They're not actually meant to be used for the paper cutting. It's meant to. This is really only meant to find what part you're looking for. I was referring to it as my roadmap because it's like the size of one. Let me see how far off. I don't even think it's really that the color match is not very good, is it? No, it's not even close. Well, we might have to just go with it for right now. I think I'll fix it. I think what I'll have to do, I'll scan this and then just print a block of paper to be able to go over top of that. And I'll probably just wrap this corner with it. I'll probably go from here to here and wrap that corner a little better. I think that's going to be the game plan. So we'll set this aside for right now and let it dry up because we need to do, I want to try to get this done real quick. All this stuff we got going on. Because this is where our cork board and whatnot goes. We also need to put these windows in here. Let me dry fit them. Because I think some of these are pretty tight. I bet what I can do. These fit a lot tighter than the other ones. What I think I'm going to do is push them in flat to the back. Let me put this flat on the ground here. Will that go in there without breaking? I hope so. Get in there. It's like cardboard, these the brown parts here that I'm dealing with. So it has a little more give to it, but I don't think it has all the give in the world. It might eventually break on me. Okay, there we go. That's working. I just want to push it all the way to the back, I think, is where we want that. Like so. Let's try to flatten it as best we can. And then what I think I'm going to do, I bet I can just use this medium stuff and apply on the back side here because it will seep into the seam there like so and like so, because that will seep into that seam. I'm going to let that happen. Yeah, and then just spray it with accelerant. And there we go. I think that'll hold that in there. And then once that dries up, it's not quite dry. Okay. We'll do this other one, or we'll do the other two. In fact, I should have just done them all at the same time, I suppose. Let's see, because these fit nice and tight. Pushing them in there like so works pretty good. And then let's go. Is there a certain way this one goes? It goes, it goes with the two to the bottom. So this way. And this one's going to fit. Oh, wow. This one fits real snug. How do we go about this? That one fell right through. So I might have to use the thick stuff on that one. You'd think they'd all kind of fit the same. They'd fit the same. I mean, these are laser cut. I mean, it's pretty precision. Done with pretty high tolerances, I would think. But that's really making that bow out like that. I think what I'm going to do is pop it out. Let's sand it. Just trying to avoid doing this because I don't want to over sand. Sand there. Sand the top side. I'm using the finer grit, which is still a pretty coarse grit on this sanding stick. I'm trying to use just a finer sand, or finer coarse, just to not go too far with it. Yeah, that's better. Let's push it all the way down to where it's flat to the bottom, I think. Like so. Yeah, that's not bowing out as bad. Of course, I pushed it in a little too far. Okay. Let me grab the glue. There. Now what I'm going to do, I'm going to put the glue here. It's kind of bowing out a little bit, but I think if I take a piece of tape, I can probably run that across like so to hold it in. There we go. And then let me spray it. Yeah, and I think that'll work for that one. Now this one's probably going to take, I think this one's going to take a little of the thick stuff to hold it in. Yeah, because it just falls right through. So let's go ahead and go to our thick CA and just put a dot on each side, I think, is the game plan. And I think that'll work for us. Gosh, this stuff is so thick, it really is hard to squeeze out. And it's not that the tip is dried up, it's just that the glue is so thick. Okay. Now again, I'm going to go from the front side and try to push this through, avoiding my fingers in the CA, which I just failed. I just stuck it in. Took about a half a second and I had my finger in the CA glue. Okay. I'm going to try to bring it back to this back edge. That was kind of glued already. Okay, I'm going to go with it there. Okay, and I think that will let that dry out. Yeah, that one, this side didn't really glue for us. Well, I still have the accelerant on there. Whoops, I'm going to use, where did I put my other glue? Here it is. So there's still accelerant on the wood. So I think I can just hit this again like that and it'll actually glue it up, and I'll spray it again. Why not? Okay. There, I think that's got all the sides glued up there. Let's let that dry in the back, because I wanted to go ahead. We made this, whatever they call this, the poster wall. Oh, you know what? I need to actually put these in first. So we have a long brown piece that goes, it goes centered up down here like this on the bottom. So let me get that. I'm just going to use CA glue. I think that's our best option. And I'm just going to dot it like so. But I want to hit the edges or the ends down here because I don't want those to pull up. And then it's centered in here. When I say centered, I mean on this kind of peach color. We have the same gap on each side, it looks like, and I think it's because there's going to be walls that go there. Let's make sure we're where we want to be. And then what we can do is just set something on it like so. Kind of hold it in place just for a second, because then we've got, I want to put this white piece in If I look down here, it goes down. And the reason I wanted to put this wood, the brown wood in first is because this goes down to it. And this has a nice warp to it. Wonderful. That's going to make this harder to glue. So I'll put the warp coming away from the wall, and then I'll set something heavy on it. But it goes, it actually goes over here. It goes down to the brown wood we just put on, and then down the edge of the that window, this window here. So let me go ahead and put some glue. Now it's concaving this way when I'm putting the glue on. Let me get the ends. I don't know if you guys can even see what I'm doing. Put it on the ends and then start dabbing in the middle. And so now when I flip it over, the concave is going to be going this way, or the warp in this board. Let me get it where we want it, like that. And then now I need something heavy, which I think this might do the job. That is not even heavy enough. I might have to, I can hold it and see if I can just hold it long enough. I mean, it was a good 1/8 of an inch off this surface here. That's how much the warp was. You know, while I'm holding this, I'm going to grab, so the cork board or poster board or whatever they're calling this thing is going to go here-ish. It like bumps up against that. You know, we don't have enough gap on this side here, I don't think, for, I don't know, we'll find out. If we have to start sanding things, we will. But I think while I hold this with my other hand, I'm going to open my CA glue back up. I'm going to dot some of it on here. That's way too much, not necessarily necessary to have that much on there. Make sure my board is the right way up, and then I'm going to bump it all the way up against that wood and just set it down. And then we'll just set this guy on it to hold it. I'm holding this with my hand, which is starting to get a little tired and worn out. And the only other thing we have to do on this wall is there's these whiteboards, and it says ×2. So what I'm assuming is we're going to stack them. And they're going to go right there, right there. So I think I'm gonna have to stack these. In fact, I was going to glue them together on there. Let me see. Is this? I'm afraid it's going to just rip the paper off because we're gluing to the paper. But I guess the paper's glued well enough to hold that. Okay, we're going to assume so. So what I think I need to do is glue this guy. One of these, and where does it goes kind of against here, that, you know, the top of this is against the bottom of that window, and then up against that wood there, like so. So it pretty much goes there. And then it says ×2, so I think we stack it. So I'm going to put another one on top of there. It's going to make kind of a ledge, I guess. By doing 2 of them, we'll get a bit of a ledge going here. Like so. And we're pretty much out of time here, guys. So what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna set this right where I want it. I'm gonna take my can. Oops, and I moved the board. That's too big. It's wanting to. Let me use the glue that came with the kit. Will that sit on there? Yep, but let me get it straight. I want to make sure and get that nice and lined up. I'm not going to touch anything. I'm going to let that all dry. I'm going to tell you thank you for joining me today. We've made it to here. The next step was actually to just attach these pieces to the floor. I think I'm going to do that as soon as I turn off the cameras here. I'm going to go ahead or as soon as this is dry and I turn off the cameras, I'm going to go ahead and glue that up. So we'll do that. You know, when we come back tomorrow, this glue up will be done. I thank you for joining me. Leave me those comments down below. Let me know what you think. Hit the like button if you would. It really does help. The comments and likes really help with the YouTube algorithms, as you guys know. Hit the subscribe button. You know what to do on YouTube. Do all those things you do, and I'll see you tomorrow. Bye-bye.
Here we go. This night, you gotta find